The end of JobKeeper could take down 5,000 firms. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's look at this article from Yahoo Finance. JobKeeper's end could kill off 5,000 firms. And we've looked at this in another video earlier today. Zombie businesses just going under. People have been kicking the can down the road. And in a cruel twist, some people have kept, it looks like, have kept their businesses going just so they could get JobKeeper themselves, and were still incurring additional costs. You know, those power bills, those electricity bills, those insurance costs that you need to keep your premises going. At least 5,000 businesses are likely set for closure in the next 3 months, following the end of the JobKeeper wage subsidy and as rules around trading while insolvent return to normal. Now, if we have here, I was showing this in a previous video, you can see the companies entering external administration took a sharp dive, just as we entered our first recession, everyone, and is slowly creeping back up. If we just go back to normal, that's gonna be a big deal, guys. Credit reporting agency Credit to Watch chief executive Patrick Coughlin says he's not expecting the tsunami of insolvencies that were talked about last year, but argues companies need to be allowed to fail. There needs to be some creative destruction in the economy. If you go into business, you make some mistakes, you fail, you learn. I did a video just recently about the value of failure. Sometimes failing at something is the most important lesson you can have in life. Sometimes it is humbling and will make you reevaluate, pivot, learn new things, discover new opportunities. It's important, everyone. It seems to be forgotten. Or is it just me? Am I just evolving now into boomer mode, grumpy old man mode? It means companies that shouldn't be operating aren't pulling down the rest of the economy, Mr. Coughlin said. We need to get back to at least pre-COVID administration levels and away from the synthetic environment we lived in for the past 12 months. He's right. He's 100% right. Australian Securities and Investment Commission figures show 8,000 businesses are normally placed in administration each year, but during 2020, only 5,000 firms were forced to close. It means 3,000 businesses that should have become insolvent last year are due to fail this year. On top of that, an analysis by Credit to Watch and McGrath Nicole calculates an additional 2,000 are likely to be insolvent as a result of the government interventions to mitigate the pandemic. They say the temporary moratorium on insolvent trading, I mean, that's the one that scared me more than anything, guys. Probably because I'm a small business person and I've had to chase up invoices. I've had to take people to QCAT. I've lost thousands of dollars, I think most 15 grand from one client who suddenly could speak English when I went and harassed him at his place of business, but couldn't during the meetings. It was funny, that. What a bastard. Anyway, but, you know, it's just the way it is, guys. It's part of business. You got to deal with it. It hardens you. It really does. But, I mean, that's why. That scared me. The idea of, you know, fortunately, all the people I'm doing business with are pretty, you know, are decent and straightforward, of a bigger scale, that I'm not worried about it, at least not as much. But imagine if you're, you know, a subby or, you know, even a builder working for someone, you're building something, and for me it's just rent and staff and all those costs. But if you're literally buying material and then bolting it down to someone's premises and they're insolvent, you can't go in there and unbolt it. The federal government introduced in 2020, as well as the JobKeeper provisions, artificially supported some businesses to continue trading that would have otherwise failed, creating the so-called zombie companies. Meanwhile, economists will be keeping an eye on housing-related figures over the next couple of days, given the strength of house prices and lending in recent months. The Reserve Bank will release its monthly credit figures, and the ABS will post building approvals for February on Wednesday. That's going to be interesting. I'll have to check when that comes out, and we'll do a video on it. But this is the I'll have to see if the figures are up to today. Maybe we'll get them next. But yeah, February. They're going to start tracking up, I think, until the end of this month, because it's the last chance you can get in for that home builder moolah, guys. So there's a big rush. On Thursday, CoreLogic will release its home value index for March, and the ABS will have lending figures. APRA chair Wayne Byers told a conference on Tuesday he and his council of financial regulator colleagues are watching developments in the home lending sector. That does not seem to be cause for immediate alarm, nor though for complacency, he said. So they'll just watch it. So let's have a look at this other blog post from Creditor Watch, because they talk about some interesting things. They actually look at what is close to my heart is payment times. Now, if you've only ever been an employee and gotten paid like every fortnight or every week, like clockwork, you don't know what it's like being a business person and chasing invoices. Because you'll sign, contracts and everything, and they'll just ignore it, particularly some of the bigger builder companies, and they'll pay on their terms. And if you bitch and moan, then you won't get any more work. Welcome to the power imbalance that exists. And they can implement all these, these rules and payment bloody things, and all the, government can try and save the day. It doesn't matter. If you make too much noise, you lose the work, guys. So you got to play the game. That's the risk you take. And small business, you got to bear it sometimes. So, and I know a lot of people who have worked in the construction game know what it's like not getting paid. It can be really stressful. If you're struggling to get money in, you've got 100 grand, 200 grand in outstanding invoices, but the cash is drying up. It's not a fun thing when you have a whole lot of money coming in and it's already been spent. That's why I'm really happy I've reduced my costs, guys. So back to this. Creditor Watch comments on the end of the JobKeeper the end of JobKeeper means for the future of Australian business. Sunday marks monumental day in the Australian economic calendar as the federal government's JobKeeper stimulus is officially being ended. And we've got comments here from their chief executive and chief economist. So, chief economist Harley Dale says, the end of JobKeeper support will be a difficult but necessary transition. Creditor Watch data has shown bankruptcies and insolvencies won't fall off a cliff as first anticipated. So they're saying we won't have the insolvency cliff. That's what I was saying we'll have. Just looking at the latest data, guys, I think it's going to be a slow climb up. Because people are going to kick the can down the road. Like in that previous episode, that young woman who was now in 60 grand in debt because she just kept the business going rather than liquidate it all. Which I can understand is tough. It's tough. The number of businesses accessing the JobKeeper payment has fallen quickly as our economy has begun to recover. At the JobKeeper peak in quarter 2 and quarter 3 of last year, around 1 million businesses were receiving the payment, but this number had halved by quarter 4. Yes, jobs will be lost, and yes, businesses will go under. It's predicted there are between 3,000 to 5,000 insolvent businesses currently being supported by government stimulus and insolvency legislation. While they won't all go into administration in the short term, we will start to see a sustained increase in administration over the next 12 months. The long-term effects won't be as severe as first expected. We must remember there is still government support largely for those industries struggling the most. We have the travel and tourism stimulus package, along with extensions and expansions of the SME loan guarantee scheme and apprenticeship wage subsidy. These and other policies will still be available for businesses that are viable and need access to finance. The greatest magnitude of uncertainty is that we don't know how many companies aren't commercially viable. These businesses are about to be brought to the fore, and recovery never happens in a straight line. Watch this space. So what's the CEO saying? We've always known that JobKeeper can't last forever. The policy has done a sterling job in keeping the Australian economy afloat, and the Treasurer should be congratulated for the initiative. However, for our nation to move into the next stage of economic recovery, this lifeline must be switched off. For those businesses at risk, seeking advice from an independent registered restructuring service or insolvency practitioner will provide the best support. There are several insolvency schemes available, yet we have seen little uptake of them. That might be about to change now. True, they've made some changes to the insolvency process, which I'll be fortunate I haven't actually had to go insolvent, nor have I, chased money from a client that's gone insolvent. You can go to ASIC and we can see the insolvency notices, guys. And because remember, you're an unsecured creditor. If you just type ASIC insolvency notices, you can see them here. And it's kind of sad because they'll have all the meetings and who's appointed, and people will be trying to go there to get maybe cents in the dollar of what they're owed. They may not get anything. It's interesting to see 46% of businesses expect it to be easy or very easy, wow, to meet financial commitments over the next 3 months, compared to 23% in August. This is because savings are at record highs and late payments are very low for both businesses and consumers due to the surplus of government cash available. The next 3 to 6 months will be a critical period as the financial buffers are removed and we can see how everyone fares without government help. The industries most impacted by COVID restrictions last year remain front of mind as those most likely to default on payments. As we move through to 2021, we will be monitoring this closely. So here's the industry, and here's the probability of default and administrations in January 2021. So accommodation, food and beverage, probability of default 5.82% and 14.06% of administrations. Administration and support services, 4.77% probability of default, 0.5% of administrations. Agriculture and forestry, 3% default. Arts and recreation, 2.77%. I'm surprised that's not higher. Construction, 4.49%. Education and training, 3.84%. Electricity, gas, water and waste, 3.7%. Financial and insurance services, 4.2%. Nothing else too high here, but there you go. I mean, the big one is accommodation and food. I'm surprised art and recreation isn't higher. So there we have it, everyone. The take from Creditor Watch, 5,000 firms expected to go under. What do you think? There needs to be, well, there's going to be some tough times ahead. Some people need to make some tough decisions. It's business, guys. And it's going to be sad because for some people it's through absolutely no fault of their own. And the biggest issue is the people making these calls, who are intervening in the economy and taking away your livelihood, are not affected at all themselves. This is the divide between the public sector and the private sector, everyone. Their wages are higher, their job security is better, their power to manipulate the economy and take money from one group to another is beyond reproach. We need to advocate for smaller government. We need to strip back the bureaucracy. The real danger is that you can vote for whoever you want. It's the bureaucrats sitting there as well. How can we clear them out? What about this recent debacle here in Queensland with Queensland Health reporting fake news about that party? Who's gotten fired? As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support the channel. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links on Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.